Coast's most accurate forecast from the First Coast News Weather Team, certified by Weather Rate, sponsored by AC Designs.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. What a busy day for our rain chances, for the tropics. I'm First Coast News Chief Meteorologist Lewis Turner. I'm updating a few things, actually, as we speak, because we're getting some brand new information from the National Hurricane Center. In fact, as I get ready to hit send. All right, emails. I'm telling you, man, it's a live work environment. Got to get the info out. And it's like multi-dimensional. I'm looking into this dimension and out towards the west side where things are clearing. We've had a few rounds of showers and thunderstorms. Right now it's 82 outside, feeling like 86. Northwest winds at 15. So we've had that front come around our area, and it's going to linger around, bring us some isolated showers for the rest of the evening. And then again for Saturday. But let's kind of get into our main event here, and let's talk tropics here on a Friday afternoon and kind of our big headlines, what we know right now, what we don't know right now. Main impact still going to be east of the First Coast Monday. How far east of the First Coast is the big question, and really what we can't anchor into just quite yet. We've got to see a lot more information and see what happens with what is 94L. And by 5 o'clock, in fact, the newest information that I was just updating is the National Hurricane Center is going to start issuing advisories on this as a potential tropical cyclone. What that'll do, give us more forecast products, including cone. So that's a good thing. Gives us more information, more forecasting intel with this as we can prepare for really Sunday night into Monday. And that'll be when we see the worst of our impacts here at the First Coast, and we got to see how far to the east of the First Coast this stays. Rough seas, surf, dangerous rip currents, the main impacts. Again, if it's further to the west, closer to the First Coast, then we bump up our rain chances and getting even windier than what we could expect. And I mentioned the new classification today. That's what I mean when I say the potential tropical cyclone. That's a level between or before we'd actually have a depression and or tropical storm. But we do believe, and the confidence is high from the Hurricane Center, that we will get Imelda with this as we take a look at the kind of forecast modeling and what we need to be aware of. So we do issue a weather impact alert for Monday, and that is primarily because of the fact that we're going to have a tropical system moving off coast. And it's not necessarily because of direct impacts or rain chances or any one thing, although we will have high surf, rip currents, and coastal flood advisories potentially in place. I just want you in the know on the forecast. So this is just kind of to drive home. It's still a good idea, even over the weekend, at least get one tropical forecast per day, if not twice a day, maybe a morning and an evening, and just watch for potential and quick changes to that forecast, which could be coming in, because like I said, 50, 60 miles with a system more towards the west and closer to the coast mean our impacts will be greater. All right, so tropical update still, we're up to that 90% chance of development, but with that potential tropical cyclone, essentially we're going to get those graphics in by about 4:50 because they'll issue advisories at 5, so that'll start coming into the system then, and we'll have a pretty good look at what 94L. And then, of course, we've got Umberto, which just kind of updated there. We're getting the 5 o'clock data on that right now. Forgive me, I'm going to just double check everything. Now that you just saw that update with Umberto currently, and everything kind of comes in fast and furious with this. So I'm going to get and still looking like we have not quite got the 5 o'clock update on 94L. So we'll watch and we wait for that. And we'll, of course, have that on the 5 p.m. broadcast. So there is the latest cone when it comes to Umberto. They've got the 5 o'clock out for this, as you see in the top right-hand corner. 115 mile an hour winds. So we've gotten up to that major strength right now with this storm. So that is an impressive hurricane, major hurricane there with Umberto. All right, we look ahead, though, as a Category 4 hurricane. This thing's going to gather strength. Look at how, you look to the right. You see what the invest is, 94L, of course, near the Turks and Caicos, really right on the east side of Cuba. But look at that hurricane on infrared there on the right. Man, that is a buzzsaw. Powerful and still with the cone, looking like it's going to kind of split the difference between the Outer Banks and Bermuda, making that turn to the north. And now we got to wait and watch what exactly is going to happen as we zoom zoom on in and see there is, we're going to get the low. We're going to get that potential tropical cyclone with this, meaning we get some cone going. But a lot of land interaction is going to happen between now and as it moves through the Bahamas over the weekend. All right, so here are your forecast models. So other than that one random piece of spaghetti that kind of goes out towards the Outer Banks of North Carolina, the consensus remains the recurve of Umberto. Now, what about the Invest 94L? So still kind of looking towards the Carolina coast. So we've seen some outliers that come down as close to Savannah and others that go up towards Myrtle Beach, but certainly those in and around the low country of South Carolina need to be watching this very, very closely, very, very carefully for something to be moving on shore there by late Monday night into early Tuesday morning. And those impacts for the coast would be for their coast near Charleston, perhaps between, say, Savannah and Myrtle Beach, somewhere along that coastline. Storm surge, rainfall rates up to around 10 inches, so certainly some potential for flooding, strong winds. This could be a Category 1 hurricane if it intensifies over those warm waters just east of the Bahamas and moves on up. So let's look at, this will show you kind of that forecast wind field emerging from the Bahamas and heading towards the first coast. So we will see some gusty winds at the beach. This is 2 a.m. Monday. We get to about lunchtime, a little later now, kind of slowing down just a bit. So we get to the later part of the day, Monday evening. And we start to see those gusts 25 to 30 at our beaches, bigger waves, and this still kind of zeroing in. Look at that look between these two storms. Gosh, that's a spooky sort of look in it with that center of mass there between Umberto and the System 94L. Yes, I got a hot piece of news just coming in from my assistant news director, Neil. Hey. What, Cat 3 hurricane, 115 miles an hour. Yeah, no, I appreciate. This is the type of stuff I love. All right, live updates. Yes, we just showed Umberto. It is indeed a major at this point with 115 mile an hour winds. Going to be a impressive hurricane there, moving just to the west of Bermuda, as you can see. That's the one on the right. Will it impact this storm? It looks like this stalls out. Like this particular model shows stalling out right on the coast, and that would mean dumping a lot of rain on the Carolinas. For us, let's go ahead and kind of get a closer look at our potential winds as we get to Sunday afternoon. We're seeing sustained at 10 to 15, gust 20 to 25 Sunday afternoon. But the main event comes in. Look at the reds, the yellows, kind of those oranges. By late Monday afternoon, we could start to see some winds in the Monday afternoon into the evening. Gust to 30, 35 with the current track. All right, European model. So we look at our two main global models, and these are the ones that you see shared a lot on social media, and I'll show you what it's showing. So the trend has been just a little bit slower with this. So we have been seeing about lunchtime this system being latitudinally abeam parallel with Jacksonville. This is going to be a little bit later, but still staying some 150 miles off our coast, which would limit rain chances. So with this system, we're seeing a lot of dry air moving in on the west side of the storm, meaning rain chances may be limited to just the coast. And if you're west of, say, I-95 or west of 17 and 301, certainly you might stay pretty dry come Monday. This would be Tuesday morning now, so we're still dealing with some north winds as that system would then move on shore and perhaps stall out along the coast. That's European modeling. What's GFS say? Well, looking at our timetable, this would be Monday afternoon, so this is a little bit faster, still showing very, very consistent in showing this moving ashore towards Charleston, not doing the pause with this computer model. So it's not doing that stall out, slowing down, and kind of moving on up through the Midlands of South Carolina towards Columbia and then Charlotte, right up I-77. So not the best time to be making those trips if you're trying to drive through on Tuesday afternoon, because they're going to be getting a lot of rainfall. All right, so looking at our model comparison now as we kind of think about the speed of each of these, and European a little weaker and a little slower, GFS a little faster, a little stronger when you're looking at the concentric circles closer to our coast. The ones further away, that would be Umberto, but showing that system again still pretty consistent. Why? Well, we've got that Bermuda high. It is staying strong. We've got it kind of extended up and over New England, and with that, it provides some resistance to our new potential tropical cyclone, which eventually will be named Imelda. It moves on up and in, and the reason it does that stall out is because of that strong high pressure up towards Mississippi River Valley and the Great Lakes. That could certainly steer it back and in up the Savannah River and create some rainfall through Savannah, Macon, and the Savannah River area. GFS showing a little bit different look, and that's why it doesn't pause. It shows high weakening, not quite as strong over the Great Lakes, and then allowing for it to move a little bit faster so it's not dumping quite as much rainfall. So I want to remind you, watches and warnings. So these would have to start going out if we're going to be within 48 hours, and we're thinking Monday, Saturday, Sunday. So these are going to have to come out by Saturday evening. So a lot of changes are going to be coming in fast. We're going to take a short break, and then your local forecast. Stay with us. Welcome back. So again, like kind of leading those main tropical headlines, main impacts East First Coast Monday, watching for the dangerous rip currents, surf conditions. We're going to watch for if a more western jog happens. And will we be in any forecast calling now that we're getting that new classification today, meaning potential tropical cyclone? So we're going to have that latest data as soon as the Hurricane Center starts uploading those pieces of information and we get it into our system. We're going to bring it to you at 5 o'clock on First Coast News. So Monday, weather impact alert. And again, this is primarily and only because I need you and you need to stay prepared. Continue to monitor the tropical forecast. That is your main need. I'm not telling you there's going to be any sort of catastrophic damage. That's not what I'm saying, or direct impacts even. That's not what I'm saying. But because of kind of the uncertainty still in the long range, I need you checking back. So let's be alert, especially through Monday. All right, let's come back home. Let's get local. All right, so we do have a bit of a flood advisory up for Camden and Glenn County because of some rain that's been falling. Heavy rain still falling up 95 in Glenn County and through parts of Camden right on I-95. For downtown Jacksonville, I'm watching a blob that's going right through Clay County now from Keystone to Green Cove. This is some moderate rain. Not seeing a lot of lightning unless you're out towards southern St. Johns County over St. Augustine. This is going to start to move offshore here in the next 30 to 45 minutes. But just notice There's a lot of rain around us. I think, we're getting to high school football time as I kind of zoom up towards Brunswick, and we're seeing that heavier rainfall just over Highway 17, 95 near that Buc-ee's. But really that most heavy rainfall and thunderstorm area has moved into McIntosh County now, but still Brunswick is dealing with kind of that moderate, kind of that lighter shade of green there as opposed to the orange and the red. Current winds, though, we are getting a breeze downtown Jacksonville at 17 miles an hour, 15 at NES Jax, all coming out of the west and the northwest. Temperatures have been moderated a bit by the areas that saw some of that rain. If you're in Palm Coast, you're still steady in the upper 80s, but for us at Jacksonville International Airport, mid-70s right now, 82 NES Jax. Looking ahead through the evening, so as some of those showers move out overnight, we could have a little more rain, so you could be waking up with some wet driveways, wet lawns out there. By the time we get to Saturday afternoon, I'm watching some showers, maybe for St. Johns County. Not a washout Saturday, but we will have rain in the area for both Saturday and Sunday. Again, not all day washouts, but let's just be prepared for the afternoon round of some rain and some moisture moving in as those east winds really begin to pick up. So this is Monday overnight, Sunday night into Monday morning. This is just after midnight. Notice how those winds are really picking up out of the east because of the impacts of our tropical system coming out of the Bahamas, and then some of those bands of rain could potentially be moving on shore. So we're going to watch for coastal showers Monday. As far as our rainfall forecast, by Saturday, pushing it to say we may get an inch of rain total in some of those dark areas in blue. That would be across Duval, along the beaches, and even St. Johns County getting less than an inch. So not overly impressed with rainfall totals. But let's push it to Sunday and Monday. I'm watching Monday carefully. Look how it just kind of blows up towards Charleston and the coast of South Carolina, up getting to that 9-10 inch range of rain. So they'd be dealing with a lot of rain. That may even be underselling it a bit, and that is in anticipation of this tropical system. Notice what happens with our rainfall. So coastal Georgia, but we're looking up towards Glenn County, maybe a inch and a half to 2 inches of rain. When all's said and done, maybe you get a couple extra bands of rain coming from this system, but it doesn't really overdo it for Jacksonville. So this computer model in particular, not picking up on a lot of extra rain. We'll see how what kind of adjustments need to be made depending on a more western track or a more eastern track. That front has moved by, and that's what's bringing us our rain chances for today. If you look at the west side of what would become Imelda, you notice not a lot of rain trying to make it, west of, say, 95, right? You see that sliver of green on the map, not going all the way to the west side. So for folks, again, west of Jacksonville, you might just have a pleasant day with some breezes. And this, again, continues to show that movement towards Charleston and then up into the Midlands of South Carolina, Charlotte, and the mountains of North Carolina. And here, as we talk about the anniversary of Helene, that's going to be on a lot of their minds in western North Carolina. And they'll be thinking about that with potential rainfall. Now, they have had some drought conditions up there, so hopefully not one of those situations where it floods too fast, and hopefully it's a situation where it moves out pretty quick. Rain chances kind of highlighting the 95 corridor and south for our best rain chances on Saturday. A quick check-in on our surf condition and our offshore fishing condition. At the moment, we're 1 to 2 foot seas. These are going to bounce up big time, especially as we get into Sunday afternoon and into Monday. These wave heights will be a lot different. So remember that today. Here it is Friday, 1 to 2 feet. We'll compare that to what we see on Sunday. Waking up in the morning in the low 70s, Waycross in the upper 60s out there, and for your Saturday, 85 on and off rain showers, and then maybe some pops of thunder through the afternoon. Looking at our downtown time lapse, it got dark. We saw those showers kind of move around downtown. There you go. Quickly there on the lens. And then clearing up and making way. All right, so we got Friday night football tonight. I'm keeping the rain and the thunderstorm icons on, but most of these are kicking off at 7. So in about 2 hours' time, a lot of the rain should have ended. Take a poncho with you to Friday night football, but things are looking to improve. So some of our games certainly might have a lingering shower out there. Why I'd want you to have the rain gear handy. And our game of the week, Valdosta visiting Camden County. Two great football programs, hence why it's our game of the week. Chris Porter will be up there. We keep the thunderstorm icons in there for now because we do still, right now, in fact, we do still see some thunder up and around St. Mary's and in and around Camden County. That's drifting more towards the north, but there could still be some showers. Kick is 7:30, which is a little better for a little later, a little better, meaning it gives it more time for things to kind of cool off a bit, lose some daytime heating, and lose the instability that provides a chance for lightning. So Saturday, Sunday, we'll watch our rain chances for the weekend, but I really want us turning our attention, checking in daily with us as we do frequent streaming here on First Coast News Plus with you, updating you on the tropics for Monday, where, half of us could see a good shower there at the coast. Kind of why we put that in there, and we'll watch for those strong gusty conditions as well. I'll see you at 5 o'clock on First Coast News On Air with the very latest updates.
With all the activity going on in the tropics, getting more initializing information, the better. And that's why the National Weather Service is doing more of these balloon launches.
Right, so normally twice a day, over 800 locations worldwide are launching weather balloons to get as much weather data into the computer models as possible.
And it's not just our local office here in Jacksonville doing this. Multiple offices up and down the East Coast are launching more balloons. But why?
We get a gauge on all the steering currents that are going to be directing Invest 94L, whether that's going to be offshore or close to Florida. Again, getting a more constant flow of data into those computer models. Every 6 hours they're run, so we're going to be launching balloons every 6 hours to get as much data for the National Hurricane Center to use in their forecasts. Again, then they're updating those every 6 hours as well.
And with these balloons, a lot of data is collected.
We have a radiosonde that's measuring temperature, pressure, humidity, and we've got a GPS lock on that for the wind speed and direction. So we're constantly collecting that data all throughout the flight, again, lasting in about 90 minutes.
And remember, this is all about getting a better and more accurate forecast. At the National Weather Service here in Jacksonville, I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta.